Hi, everybody. So, my good friend Liz has come by to help. When you last saw Liz, she was instructing. She was the chief pilot for our club, and hell of an instructor. But with her, so in her life, so her daughter has graduated college. So now Liz says, you know what? It's time for some me time. So she, with her 4,000 plus hours of logged flight time, went and got her ATP. Got herself a nice job, first job at the airlines. She's flying CRJ 200s for a little regional carrier around here and having a great time. I hardly get to see her anymore, so she said, hey, you know, want to get together and do some work for the plane? I was like, yeah, do some catch up. So she'd never really worked much on the plane. I'd always been in the spot where it's like, oh, you know, here, use the rivet squeezer and so on and so forth. So I thought, let's skip ahead to something that would be, you know, kind of cool and less aluminum shave filled. So what you see me working on there, so that's the control column. So as you recall from uh, the front bulkhead, I was fiddling around by playing and putting the control column in, and it's pretty cool. I thought this would be interesting because all I'm doing is riveting on a couple of ball bearings where a big bolt is going to go. So, interesting thing. Friend of mine who has come by and it's been in one of these videos, he and his wife were building a RV-14 back out east. Shane, this is for you. So he did his, and after he put the ball bearings in, the screw that was in there just wouldn't line up straight. Right, and what you really don't want to do is, you know, put a bolt through two ball bearings, you know, with a lot of load, like preload that. You're basically preloading that, you know, bolt in one direction. So as you spin it, it's going to cause some weird rotation, and you don't want to do that. So I thought, you know what, let's see if I can avoid that. So there's like two flanges at the end of each side of that control bracket, or control column, right? And then there's two ball bearings on each side, and a bolt goes in between them. So what I did was I went ahead and I just got the I just got the ball bearings in place. But before I riveted them, I got the bolt in question and put it through both of the ball bearings so that I knew both of them were lined up, right? So both the ball bearings in place, put the bolt in, make sure everything's still clecoed, and then start to rivet with the bolt in place so that you know it's going to be, well, at least as straight as it wanted to be. And even with that done, there was an ever slightly loaded moment. I mean, it's probably only off by like, you know, 64th of an inch or whatever. But when you start to rivet, right, you know, you're putting a lot of force. The metal could slightly move. Now, granted, those ball bearings were fitting into those flanges very snugly. In fact, I had to deburr the holes that they were supposed to fit in until that they would actually fit through. And now Mikey's come by and we've been chatting for a while. I'm actually flying with Mikey. He's one of our CFIs. I'm flying with him tomorrow to check out a plane. I'm gonna fly in his Citabria. I've never flown. I've never. You know, it's ironic. I've never flown stick. I've never flown in a tandem plane. I've always just flown in Cessnas and Pipers. So I'm gonna get a little bit of and tail wheels. So I'm gonna get a little bit of tail wheel time. It's gonna be a blast. So with that done, now we're kind of working on the big ribs. So these are the big ribs. As far as this chapter is concerned, there's 3 sets of ribs, and these are the big ones. See, these are the ones that actually attach to the wing box, and your butt basically sits on these. The deburring's not too bad. It's all at least very straight. All the flanges are pretty straight. There's not a lot of flange points that you really have to get in deep with, like some fine files and stuff like that. The holes are easy, so it's, you know, it's actually pretty simple. I timed myself. It takes about 7 minutes per rib. And there's 10 ribs, 70 minutes, do the math. It's not that bad. And Liz wasn't too bad. I got her deburring a few holes here. She and I were going to go fly that day, but the winds were 28 gusting to 35 knots. Sure, it was right down the runway, but I really didn't feel like getting the crap beat out of me, especially if we went up high. And that day, like the SIGMET AirMet map of the United States was the entire United States. Looked like a Christmas tree. For those that don't know what that is, basically just weather advisories. Hey, we got turbulence, we got icing. Mess. Oh, there I do it again. So anyway, yep, we got some work done. We got some deburring. And thanks for watching, and see you soon.